Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to kill him.
Is that a jeweler named Duke recently got killed. And the story's really messed up. So I want you to talk about what happened.
The streets are talking, and the proof is finally out in the open. 50 Cent has just dropped shocking evidence that has the hip-hop world buzzing, claims that Boosie Badazz and J. Prince Jr. were involved in the murder of Duke the Jeweler. This isn't just rumors or speculation anymore. 50 Cent is presenting documents, audio clips, and alleged eyewitness accounts that he says prove the connection. Fans, rappers, and industry insiders are now scrambling to process what this could mean. The story has everything: betrayal, gang ties, high-profile names, and a murder that shook the Atlanta and Houston music scenes. Social media has erupted, with thousands weighing in, dissecting every piece of the proof, and debating who can be trusted. Everyone is asking the same question: is this the moment the truth finally comes out, or just another scandal in hip-hop drama? The background is crucial to understand why this revelation has so many people on edge. Duke. The jeweler, a staple in the hip-hop jewelry game, had long-standing ties to artists, producers, and moguls across the South. His influence was felt in music videos, private collections, and the culture at large. When news of his murder initially broke, the story left the streets in shock and many unanswered questions. While there was speculation, nothing had been officially confirmed linking Boosie or J. Prince Jr. until now. 50 Cent, known for his relentless pursuit of exposing secrets and stirring the pot, has stepped in to drop what he claims is irrefutable evidence. The timing and the intensity of the evidence have left fans divided. Some are ready to take it as gospel, while others question whether it's part of a calculated move by 50 to dominate headlines once again. The proof itself is what has the internet on fire. Screenshots of text messages, alleged phone calls, and social media posts are circulating, with 50 Cent providing commentary and context for each. Even casual observers are realizing that this is not just hearsay. This is a meticulously crafted presentation that leaves little room for doubt. The implication is massive. Two highly influential figures in the Southern rap scene may have had a direct hand in the death of a man who was central to hip-hop culture. For many, this isn't just a story about crime. It's a story about loyalty, power, and the lengths people go to protect or expand their influence. Already, industry veterans, journalists, and fans are reacting, analyzing every frame of the evidence, every timestamp, every interaction. Social media is flooded with opinions, heated debates, and calls for law enforcement to step in. The stakes couldn't be higher, and for those following hip-hop's tangled web of alliances and rivalries, this could mark a defining moment. Will this evidence lead to arrests, convictions, or just more chaos in the streets and online? 50 Cent has put the world on notice, and the ramifications could ripple far beyond the music industry. In this video, we'll break down everything 50 Cent has revealed, from the alleged involvement of Boosie and J. Prince Jr., to the timeline of Duke the Jeweler's murder, to the reactions of the hip-hop community and the possible legal consequences. By the end, you'll understand why this revelation could shake the foundation of Southern rap forever, and why everyone in the culture is now watching closely. The moment 50 Cent stepped into the conversation about Duke the Jeweler's death, the streets went silent for a second, only to explode moments later. For years, fans had speculated about the circumstances surrounding Duke's murder, but concrete evidence remained elusive. Rumors swirled through Atlanta and Houston, passed along in whispers between industry insiders, rappers, and longtime associates. No one could piece together the full story until 50 Cent decided to make it public. Known for his relentless pursuit of the truth, whether for fame, vendetta, or genuine concern, 50 Cent released a series of posts and commentary that directly implicated Boosie Badazz and J. Prince Jr. in Duke's death. The images, messages, and audio clips he shared quickly went viral, igniting heated debates online. For the first time, people had tangible proof to dissect. The first pieces of evidence were text messages that allegedly showed communication between parties involved in the planning stages of Duke's murder. Fans immediately combed through every word, timestamp, and detail, trying to piece together the narrative. Some argued that the messages were carefully curated to show only one side of the story, but others felt the consistency and context made them believable. According to 50 Cent, these messages were more than just casual chatter. They revealed a level of coordination and intent that was previously only suspected in hushed conversations. For many, the revelation was shocking because both Boosie and J. Prince Jr. were high-profile figures with loyal followings. The idea that they could be connected to Duke's death seemed almost unthinkable. In addition to the texts, 50 Cent presented alleged audio recordings in which voices, claimed to be those of Boosie and J. Prince Jr., discussed details that aligned with the known timeline of Duke's murder. Fans, commentators, and journalists alike spent hours analyzing tone, background sounds, and speech patterns to verify authenticity. Even casual observers were forced to confront the possibility that the rumors had more truth than anyone had dared to believe. For many in the hip-hop community, Duke wasn't just a jeweler. He was a trusted figure whose influence spanned decades. His death left a void in the industry, and now, after 50 Cent's revelation, it seemed that the void was filled with betrayal from people who had long-standing ties to both Duke and the community at large. As the evidence circulated, the timing became another focal point. Duke's murder had occurred under circumstances that were mysterious at the time, but the timeline revealed in 50 Cent's posts painted a chilling picture. Social media users pieced together public appearances, social media check-ins, and private encounters to show how Boosie and J. Prince Jr. might have had the opportunity to carry out or orchestrate the crime. Every screenshot or snippet shared by 50 Cent fueled the speculation further. Even those who doubted the veracity of the evidence had to acknowledge the thoroughness with which it was presented. Unlike vague rumors, 50 Cent appeared to have a clear and detailed reconstruction of events. The public reaction was instantaneous and fierce. Fans flooded comment sections, sharing shock, disbelief, and anger. Many called for law enforcement intervention, demanding that authorities investigate the claims seriously. Others debated whether 50 Cent's evidence was enough to pursue legal action, or if it was purely a move to dominate headlines and disrupt the reputations of Boosie and J. Prince Jr. Regardless of intent, the revelation had created an undeniable narrative, one in which two influential figures were being accused of a high-profile murder. Online, hashtags and trending topics reflected the intensity of the conversation, with users analyzing, defending, and attacking all parties involved. Meanwhile, Boosie and J. Prince Jr. remained largely silent, at least publicly. Their teams were reportedly in crisis mode, attempting to assess the potential fallout from 50 Cent's posts. Lawyers, publicists, and personal advisors were said to be strategizing responses, but any misstep could result in further reputational damage or even legal consequences. The silence only added fuel to the fire, as fans interpreted it either as denial by omission or fear of the evidence's credibility. In any case, the story was no longer just about Duke's murder. It had become a larger discussion about accountability, loyalty, and the dark intersections of fame, power, and criminal activity within the hip-hop community. Industry insiders weighed in, some suggesting that the evidence could impact future collaborations, brand deals and reputations for everyone connected. For Boosie and J. Prince Jr., who had carefully cultivated images over the years, this could be catastrophic. Even casual observers started questioning past interactions, social media posts, and public statements for hidden hints or inconsistencies. It wasn't just about the murder anymore, it was about trust, influence, and credibility within a community that prizes both public persona and street legitimacy. 50 Cent's role in this revelation was pivotal. Unlike traditional news outlets, he leveraged his platform to control the narrative, provide context, and highlight specific evidence, ensuring that the story reached millions quickly. His commentary included not just the raw evidence, but also analysis, connections to prior events, and pointed observations about character and intent. By doing this, he positioned himself as both a narrator and a key influencer in how the public understood the events surrounding Duke the Jeweler's death. Whether seen as a whistleblower or an opportunist, his impact on the story was undeniable. At the same time, the community reacted with intense debate. Some defended Boosie and J. Prince Jr., claiming that nothing had been proven beyond doubt and that the evidence could be fabricated or misrepresented. Others accepted 50 Cent's claims, feeling that the patterns, timelines, and corroborating details made the accusations credible. The tension between belief and skepticism created a whirlwind of discussion across platforms, highlighting how social media has transformed the way serious allegations are received, debated, and amplified. By the end of the first 24 hours after the evidence surfaced, it was clear that the hip-hop community had entered uncharted territory. Duke the Jeweler's murder, once a painful and mysterious event, had now become the center of a high-profile public investigation fueled by social media, public figures, and passionate fans. 50 Cent's posts had set the stage for what could be the most consequential chapter in Southern rap history in years, forcing everyone involved to confront truths, perceptions, and consequences. The ripple effect of 50 Cent's revelations began to hit the hip-hop community almost immediately. Fans, industry insiders, and journalists were dissecting every piece of evidence he shared, attempting to piece together a narrative that had remained obscured for years. Many were shocked not only by the allegations themselves, but also by the boldness of 50 Cent in bringing such explosive claims to the public. His reputation as someone who does not shy away from controversy made him a natural figure to unveil this story, but the stakes were high. Accusing Boosie Badazz and J. Prince Jr. of involvement in Duke the Jeweler's murder was not just a headline, it was a potential legal and personal minefield. The first major focus after the initial evidence release was the credibility of the sources. 50 Cent had included what he claimed were text messages and audio recordings, but skeptics immediately questioned authenticity. Some suggested the messages could have been manipulated or taken out of context. Others debated whether the voices on the audio were truly those of Boosie and J. Prince Jr. Despite the doubts, the material had enough detail to compel many to consider it plausible. Dates, times, and locations corresponded with publicly known events, and several eyewitness accounts shared independently online seemed to corroborate parts of the story. Even those cautious about accepting the evidence acknowledged that the documents were at least worth scrutinizing. As the story gained traction, the conversation turned to motive. Observers examined the relationships between Duke the Jeweler, Boosie, and J. Prince Jr., trying to understand why they might be implicated. Duke had long been a central figure in Southern hip-hop, trusted by artists across Atlanta, Houston, and beyond. He had been involved in major deals, high-stakes transactions, and influential networks. Tensions reportedly arose due to disputes over money, influence, and territory. Some sources claimed that Duke had refused certain business opportunities or partnerships that Boosie or J. Prince Jr. wanted, leading to personal animosity. Others suggested that the alleged involvement stemmed from conflicting loyalties within the southern rap scene, where alliances often shift and trust can be fragile. The timing of the release was another point of discussion. 50 Cent appeared strategic in how he presented the evidence, building a timeline that connected events leading up to Duke's murder with alleged communications among the accused. Fans noted that the precision of the timeline made the story more credible, as it provided context rather than isolated claims. Observers praised 50 Cent for not only presenting the evidence, but also connecting the dots in a way that allowed people to see patterns, potential planning, and motive. It was a masterclass in narrative construction, demonstrating how social media and public influence can elevate an investigation in real time. Meanwhile, the accused parties remained quiet. Public silence can be interpreted in multiple ways, and in this case, it only added fuel to speculation. Lawyers and advisors were reportedly weighing options, but the delay allowed the public to fill in gaps with assumptions. Fans debated whether the silence indicated fear, innocence, or an attempt to avoid escalating the controversy further. Every day that Boosie and J. Prince Jr. refrained from commenting, the evidence presented by 50 Cent gained more weight in the court of public opinion. Social media platforms became arenas for debate, with supporters of both sides posting their analysis, memes, and breakdowns of each piece of evidence. The community reaction highlighted the intense scrutiny that comes with fame, especially in hip-hop. Fans who had supported Boosie and J. Prince Jr. for years suddenly found themselves grappling with allegations they had never considered plausible. Meanwhile, 50 Cent's followers praised him for shedding light on the story, interpreting his involvement as a pursuit of truth and justice. In the process, the controversy became more than a personal dispute. It evolved into a discussion about accountability, influence, and the responsibilities of public figures in high-stakes situations. Media coverage also intensified. Outlets across the country picked up the story, summarizing the evidence and analyzing the potential implications. Some articles focused on the legal ramifications, questioning whether authorities would investigate based on 50 Cent's posts. Others explored the cultural impact, noting how this controversy could reshape perceptions of loyalty, power, and ethics in the southern rap industry. The combination of street credibility, documented evidence, and social media amplification created a perfect storm, forcing both fans and industry insiders to pay attention. At the same time, rumors and counterclaims began circulating. Some alleged that 50 Cent might have had his own reasons for releasing the evidence, whether personal grievances, rivalry, or a bid to dominate headlines. Others speculated that Boosie or J. Prince Jr. could provide counter-evidence to discredit the claims. This back and forth created a tense environment where every social media post, every interview, and every leak was analyzed for hidden meaning. The story's complexity highlighted the intersection of celebrity influence, street reputation, and real-world consequences in ways few other controversies could. Despite the speculation and intense debate, one fact remained: Duke. The jeweler's death had left a lasting mark on the hip-hop community. By connecting Boosie and J. Prince Jr. to the case, 50 Cent had amplified the conversation, ensuring that the alleged circumstances surrounding the murder would be scrutinized more than ever. Fans analyzed previous collaborations, public appearances, and known rivalries to understand the context of the claims. Conversations spanned from social media comments to podcasts, from private messages to major media interviews. The story's reach was unprecedented, illustrating the power of a single public figure to influence perception and focus collective attention on unresolved events. As attention intensified, observers began to consider the broader implications. The allegations suggested a level of planning, intent, and collaboration that, if true, had serious legal consequences. Authorities were now under increased pressure to evaluate the claims, while the public demanded transparency and accountability. For the first time, the narrative shifted from rumor to evidence-driven debate, forcing all parties to confront questions they had previously avoided. The story had moved beyond entertainment into the realm of real-world consequences, where reputations, freedom, and credibility were on the line. By the end of the initial wave of revelations, it was clear that this was only the beginning. 50 Cent had reignited a conversation that many thought had faded into speculation. The combination of evidence, timing, and narrative control had made the story impossible to ignore. Boosie and J. Prince Jr. were now at the center of public scrutiny, while fans, journalists, and industry insiders continued to dissect the details. The hip-hop world had entered uncharted territory, where social media exposure, documented evidence, and celebrity influence intersected to create a powerful, ongoing narrative that could have far-reaching consequences for everyone involved. As the third chapter of this explosive story unfolded, the pressure intensified on all sides. 50 Cent's revelations had already created waves across the hip-hop community, but now the implications were beginning to extend beyond social media speculation into potential legal and real-world consequences. Analysts, fans, and journalists began examining each detail of the evidence with renewed intensity. The text messages, audio clips, and timelines provided by 50 Cent were being cross-referenced with public records, interviews, and eyewitness accounts. Every snippet of information was scrutinized, and the alleged involvement of Boosie Badazz and J. Prince Jr. became the centerpiece of a narrative that many felt had long needed clarity. Public reaction reached a fever pitch as more context emerged. People began discussing the history between Duke the Jeweler, Boosie, and J. Prince Jr., including previous business disputes and personal conflicts. Some fans recalled instances where Duke had allegedly refused financial opportunities or partnerships that Boosie or J. Prince Jr. sought to secure. Others noted long-standing tensions between the parties, suggesting that the alleged actions might stem from a combination of financial disagreements, loyalty disputes, and personal animosity. As the timeline of events became clearer, observers saw patterns that appeared to support 50 Cent's claims, making it harder for skeptics to dismiss the allegations outright. At the same time, law enforcement sources began to come under scrutiny. Many wondered whether authorities would act on 50 Cent's public evidence, or if they would remain cautious until independently verifying the claims. The combination of celebrity influence and the legal system created a tense dynamic. Fans demanded accountability and transparency, while analysts debated the likelihood of arrests, convictions, or further investigations. Social media, podcasts, and news outlets became platforms for ongoing discussion, with each new post analyzed for its potential impact on public perception and possible legal proceedings. Boosie and J. Prince Jr.'s responses, or lack thereof, remained a critical element of the unfolding story. Legal teams reportedly advised them to limit public statements, but silence in the age of social media can be damaging. Supporters speculated about their innocence and loyalty, while critics interpreted the silence as an admission of guilt. Every previous public appearance, Instagram post, and interview was now being re-evaluated for possible clues or inconsistencies. The scrutiny was relentless, demonstrating the power of public perception in shaping narratives before official confirmation could occur. Meanwhile, 50 Cent continued to amplify the story with updates, commentary, and analysis. He explained context behind each piece of evidence, connecting text messages to real-world events and providing insight into relationships, motives, and patterns of behavior. His strategic use of social media allowed him to maintain control over the narrative, directing attention to critical details and framing the story for his audience. By doing this, 50 Cent ensured that the conversation remained centered on accountability and evidence rather than speculation alone. His involvement underscored the unique power influencers can have in shaping public understanding, especially in situations that intersect culture, crime, and celebrity. The broader hip-hop community reacted with a mix of shock, curiosity, and skepticism. Some artists and insiders called for calm and restraint, noting that accusations of murder are serious and require verification before judgment. Others expressed outrage, demanding immediate action from law enforcement and calling for accountability within the community. The conversation highlighted the tension between the court of public opinion and the formal legal system, showing how quickly rumors, evidence, and celebrity influence can converge to create real-world pressure on authorities and individuals alike. Adding to the complexity, independent investigators and journalists began conducting their own research, seeking to verify or challenge 50 Cent's claims. They analyzed phone records, social media posts, and business dealings tied to all parties involved. Some reported circumstantial connections that appeared to support the allegations, while others noted inconsistencies and raised questions about timing and credibility. This independent scrutiny reinforced the idea that 50 Cent's revelations were only the starting point, not the final chapter. The story had evolved into a multifaceted investigation with multiple layers of evidence, interpretation, and reaction. Fans continued to debate the motives behind 50 Cent's disclosure. Some argued it was a pursuit of justice, exposing wrongdoing that had long been hidden. Others suggested it might be strategic positioning, a way to dominate headlines and assert influence in the culture. Regardless of intent, the impact was undeniable. The story had forced public examination of actions, motives, and relationships that many had assumed were private. By making the evidence public, 50 Cent had created a ripple effect, compelling attention from fans, artists, and authorities alike. As the investigation and public discourse unfolded, questions about loyalty, morality, and ethics dominated conversations. Could Boosie or J. Prince Jr. defend themselves convincingly? Was 50 Cent simply exposing the truth, or was there a larger strategy at play? How would the legal system respond to publicly available evidence? These questions fueled debate across social media, talk shows, and podcasts, illustrating how deeply the story had penetrated the culture. The stakes were higher than ever, with reputations, legal outcomes, and careers all potentially hanging in the balance. The aftermath of 50 Cent's revelations underscored the complex interplay between celebrity, influence, and accountability. His actions had sparked widespread discussion, forced public examination of long-standing questions, and highlighted how quickly evidence can transform rumor into serious scrutiny. For Boosie and J. Prince Jr., the spotlight was unavoidable, and every action or inaction carried significant weight. For the public and the industry, the controversy offered lessons about credibility, trust, and the consequences of private actions becoming public knowledge. Ultimately, this chapter of the Duke the Jeweler story demonstrates that in the age of social media, influence carries both power and responsibility. 50 Cent's role in revealing evidence, framing the narrative, and driving public discourse exemplifies how modern celebrity can intersect with real-world consequences. The story remains unresolved in some ways, but its impact on reputations, perceptions, and the broader hip-hop community is undeniable. Audiences continue to watch closely, analyzing every development, while the questions raised about loyalty, justice, and accountability will linger long after the headlines fade. The revelations shared by 50 Cent regarding Duke the Jeweler's murder have sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community, demonstrating just how powerful influence, evidence, and public scrutiny can be in today's digital era. This story is not just about allegations or speculation. It is about accountability, transparency, and the importance of addressing issues directly rather than letting rumors fester. 50 Cent's approach shows that even in the world of celebrity and street culture, facts, documentation, and context matter, and those who remain silent in the face of serious accusations can find themselves at the center of intense public examination. For artists, public figures, and influencers, the lesson is clear. Your actions, relationships, and communications can have far-reaching consequences. What happens behind the scenes rarely stays hidden forever, and any perceived misstep can be amplified across social media and news outlets. The situation surrounding Boosie Badazz, J. Prince Jr., and Duke the Jeweler highlights how reputations are built over years but can be challenged in a single moment. Transparency, accountability, and consistent behavior aligned with public messaging are critical to maintaining trust with audiences, collaborators, and the broader community. For fans and the public, this story serves as a reminder to critically evaluate the information we consume. Viral posts, screenshots, and videos can be compelling, but they also require careful consideration and cross-verification. While 50 Cent provided evidence and context, the reactions of fans, commentators, and journalists show how quickly narratives can evolve when multiple interpretations exist. Being thoughtful about the sources we trust, the claims we share, and the assumptions we make is essential to avoiding misinformation and ensuring fair discussions around serious issues. The controversy also emphasizes the intersection of culture, power, and justice. Allegations of this nature are not just entertainment, they carry potential legal and personal consequences. The involvement of influential figures like Boosie and J. Prince Jr., combined with 50 Cent's strategic presentation, illustrates how social media can act as a catalyst for investigation, discussion, and awareness. It demonstrates the responsibility both influencers and audiences have in navigating sensitive topics, and the impact that public attention can have on accountability and outcomes. Ultimately, this story is about more than just Duke the Jeweler's murder. It is about the broader lessons surrounding influence, integrity, and consequence. 50 Cent's decision to release evidence and provide context highlights the importance of confronting uncomfortable truths, even when they involve high-profile figures. For everyone in the hip-hop community and beyond, the situation serves as a case study in how information, transparency, and public engagement can drive real-world impact. As the story continues to unfold, it's crucial for audiences to remain informed, cautious, and reflective. Observe developments critically, understand the stakes involved, and recognize that reputation, loyalty, and trust are not abstract concepts. They have tangible effects. Whether you are a fan, an industry participant, or simply following the story, the events surrounding Duke the Jeweler remind us that in today's hyper-connected world, truth, accountability, and integrity are more important than ever.